Chapter 3 Tissues Group of Similar Cells Histology Pathologist. Common embryonic origin. Common function. Histology. Study of tissues. Pathologist. Looks for tissue changes that indicate disease. 4 basic tissues. 1. Epithelial tissue. Connective tissue. Covers surfaces because cells are in contact. Lines hollow organs, cavities and ducts. Forms glands when cells sink under the surface. Connective tissue. Material found between cells. Supports and binds structures together. Stores energy as fat. Provides immunity to disease. 4 basic tissues. 2. Muscle tissue. Nerve tissue. Cells shorten in length, producing movement. Nerve tissue. Cells that conduct electrical signals. Detects changes inside and outside the body. Responds with nerve impulses. Origin of tissues. Primary germ layers within the embryo. Endoderm. Mesoderm. Ectoderm. Tissue derivations. Epithelium from all 3 germ layers. Connective tissue and muscle from mesoderm. Nerve tissue from ectoderm. Biopsy. Removal of living tissue for microscopic examination. Surgery. Needle biopsy. Useful for diagnosis, especially cancer. Tissue preserved, sectioned and stained before microscopic viewing. Cell junctions. Tight junctions. Watertight seal between cells. Plasma membranes fused with a strip of proteins. Common between cells that line GI and bladder. Adherens junctions holds epithelial cells together. Structural components. Plaque equals dense layer of proteins inside the cell membrane. Microfilaments extend into cytoplasm. Integral membrane proteins connect to membrane of other cell. Desmosomes resist cellular separation and cell disruption. Similar structure to adherens junction except intracellular intermediate filaments cross cytoplasm of cell. Cellular support of cardiac muscle. Hemidesmosomes. Half a desmosome. Connect cells to extracellular material. Basement membrane. Gap junctions. Tiny space between plasma membranes of 2 cells. Crossed by protein channels called connexins forming fluid-filled tunnels. Cell communication with ions and small molecules. Muscle and nerve impulses spread from cell to cell. Heart and smooth muscle of gut. Epithelial tissue. General features. Closely packed cells forming continuous sheets. Cells sit on basement membrane. Apical, upper, free surface. Avascular, without blood vessels. Nutrients diffuse in from underlying connective tissue. Good nerve supply. Rapid cell division. Covering, lining versus glandular types. Basement membrane. Basal lamina. Reticular lamina. From epithelial cells. Collagen fibers. Reticular lamina. Secreted by connective tissue cells. Reticular fibers. Hold cells to connective tissue. Guide for cell migration during development. Types of epithelium. Covering and lining epithelium. Epidermis of skin. Lining of blood vessels and ducts. Lining respiratory, reproductive, urinary and GI tract. Glandular epithelium. Secreting portion of glands. Thyroid, adrenal, and sweat glands. Classification of epithelium. Classified by arrangement of cells into layers. Simple equals 1 cell layer thick. Stratified equals many cell layers thick. Pseudostratified equals single layer of cells where all cells don't reach apical surface. Nuclei found at different levels so it looks multi-layered. Classified by shape of surface cells. Squamous equals flat. Cuboidal equals cube-shaped. Columnar equals tall column. Transitional equals shape varies with tissue stretching. Simple squamous epithelium. Single layer of flat cells. Lines blood vessels, endothelium, body cavities, mesothelium. Very thin, controls diffusion, osmosis and filtration. Nuclei centrally located. Cells in direct contact with each other. Simple cuboidal epithelium. Single layer of cube-shaped cells viewed from the side. Nuclei round and centrally located. Lines tubes of kidney. Absorption or secretion. Non-ciliated simple columnar. Single layer rectangular cells. Unicellular glands equals goblet cells secrete mucus. Lubricate GI, respiratory, reproductive and urinary systems. Microvilli equals finger-like cytoplasmic projections. For absorption in GI tract, stomach to anus. Ciliated simple columnar epithelium. Single layer rectangular cells with cilia. Mucus from goblet cells moved along by cilia. Found in respiratory system and uterine tubes. Pseudostratified columnar. Single cell layer. All cells attach to basement membrane but not all reach free surface. Nuclei at varying depths. Respiratory system, male urethra and epididymis. Stratified squamous epithelium. Several cell layers thick. Surface cells flat. Keratinized equals surface cells dead and filled with keratin. Skin, epidermis. Non-keratinized equals no keratin and moist living cells at surface. Mouth, vagina. Stratified cuboidal epithelium. Multi-layered. Surface cells cuboidal. Rare, only found in sweat gland ducts and male urethra. Stratified columnar epithelium. Multi-layered. Surface cells columnar. Rare, very large ducts and part of male urethra. Transitional epithelium. Multi-layered. Surface cells varying in shape from round to flat if stretched. Lines hollow organs that expand from within, urinary bladder. Glandular epithelium. Endocrine glands. Exocrine glands. Glandular epithelium. Derived from epithelial cells that sink below the surface during development. Exocrine glands. Cells that secrete, sweat, earwax, saliva, digestive enzymes onto free surface of epithelial layer. Connected to the surface by tubes, ducts. Unicellular glands or multicellular glands. Endocrine glands. Secrete hormones into the bloodstream. Hormones help maintain homeostasis. Structural classification of exocrine glands. Unicellular are single-celled glands. Goblet cells. Multicellular glands. Branched, compound, or unbranched, simple. Tubular or acinar, flask-like, shape.